Hello and welcome to another episode of Chump Change, episode 22. With me today I have, as always,
Pree, hi, welcome.
and we have a lovely lineup of topics for you this week. The first one being GarboArtist and Big Chumps are leaving Twitch.
And as big chump as it is, I want to talk about being cheap versus being frugal again.
And then I want to talk about, I might need to start putting Peggle or Subway Surfers back into the podcast like the first two episodes because, Pree started to give into Zoomer tendencies.
And I want to close it out, hopefully, with are games worth the price anymore?
All those topics and more on this episode of Chump Change. So, we are recording this on June 8th, and the reason that we're doing this on June 8th versus like yesterday or potentially doing it earlier is Twitch did another boo-boo. And Pree and I were going to talk about it, but we kind of called it saying that if we didn't talk about it, they're probably going to change it or do something else. And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about or what I'm saying so far, Twitch made a policy updating the advertising agreement in their terms of service with their creators, whether you be an affiliate, a partner, or just a guy. And the big thing that they were talking about, and I would put infographics, but I didn't, screen grab any of them. That's gone now, so I apologize. Go check out Mogul Mail or someone who talked about it who does have it in their video. The rundown was essentially if you did any baked in ads, like if you did any banners for advertisements as a content creator, you can not use any more than 3% of your screen, which if you're doing 1920 by 1080, that there's not a lot of room for you to put something in a 3% box. And
Or even be able to see that, for that matter.
yeah, like imagine all the mobile viewers, right? Like you're watching on your phone, God forbid you have like the 13 mini or whatever, like the small version of the
Oh,
one of
dude,
the
yeah.
latest models. Like you wouldn't be able to see it. So the deal was you were allowed to use 3% of your real estate for banners. But in the same breath, they said that you're not allowed to bake in any or burn in any ads. So you like if Pree and I were playing Tekken and we have to fulfill a contract obligation for an ad, we weren't allowed to play a pre-recorded ad for that sponsor. It was not something we were allowed to do. We were allowed to display products in the background. We were allowed to talk about it, but you can't have any external sources influence. Like you can't just give a bunch of baked in stuff that take up a lot of real estate. And I'm probably butchering this just because it's been 2 days now, but they changed it so it doesn't matter as much. The big thing that they ended up going out and saying was the day after Wednesday was that they're going to backtrack on it. It's still in their terms of service. However, the way that it's been reformatted seems more like the way YouTube does it, where, hey, you can have advertisements. We want you as an individual creator to get your money. But I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to stop companies like Stream Elements from doing mass ads with people so that instead of Twitch or YouTube getting the ad revenue from the clicks, it's Stream Elements getting the clicks and the ad revenue. And the thing that kind of concerns me about this, it's not horrible just because we could figure out a different way, but a lot of the sponsorships this concerns me a little bit just because a lot of the sponsorship opportunities that Pree and I have looked at have been through companies like Stream Elements just because we're so small right now.
Yeah.
And we absolutely could reach out to local people, or we could reach out to anyone that we know and be like, hey, we're growing a little by little. We want to start doing product placements or whatever. But not everyone's fortunate enough to know people or be social enough to go out and find those opportunities. like
Yeah.
people had to back in the past. So them trying to cut out the middleman of stream elements it's a little weird, just because it's like, if Twitch and YouTube aren't going to serve stuff like that to you directly, they're kind of shoehorning it so that the only way you can get the only way you can get revenue out of streaming is through their like advertising system or their subscription system.
Okay, yeah.
Any comments or anything that you've seen that you wanted to point out about all of it?
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about the idea of how they make money, right? So Twitch makes money off of ad revenue because the company reaches out to them, and then their advertisements is in the pool of advertisements that gets played whenever someone clicks the ad button.
Right.
Right? Or just it plays automatically when you click a stream.
Yeah.
Okay. So YouTube does that right now as well. And YouTube's term of service actually has the same baked in, this is not allowed.
Yeah, all the legal verbiage is almost identical.
Yeah, but the thing I wanted to point out realistically was in YouTube, I believe Linus Tech Tips talked about this. It was YouTube is trying to give enough opportunity to where they don't have to go reach out for a third party's own advertisements.
Right.
Yeah, so for Twitch to make a step towards that is really cool. And in terms of a business model, hey, he's trying to cut out stream elements and other companies that are kind of taking advantage of it. Because at the end of the day, that's Twitch's platform.
Right, of course.
So it's like, if they want to put that in there, then cool. But at the same time, it's probably going to be like YouTube.
Yeah.
Where there's still people that are doing it. I think it's honestly like, okay, you know what? We can't stop everyone from speeding, or we can't give everyone a ticket for speeding.
Yeah.
And then, okay, well, if the biggest guy or like the president is speeding, do we pull him over? He should follow the law too, right?
Yeah.
So, maybe that's going to end up being the bane of all of us, or a bane of all of the Twitch streamers. Maybe the small guys will complain enough if they're getting punished too.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, if they're not going to get punished, or if there isn't enough punishment to cause a riot, I think that Twitch will still function the same way as before. It's just now, with the verbiage, it gives Twitch the opportunity to rebel.
Yeah.
And to actually get their money. And at the end of the day, I can't knock that,
Yeah. I mean, the biggest concern that came out of this was just the absurdity of the verbiage originally, where it was like the 3% real estate of your screen and the do's and don'ts that they did give for what you were allowed to present on stream. Like, that was a little, like, you couldn't do a lower third. Like the little banner that shows up under you, anything. And it sucks too, because also, I just remembered it as we were talking about it. This affects big events and people who use the platform. I think Ludwig said that the best thing that he could have thought of was like creator clash or chess boxing, because chess boxing literally had like UFC fights do. It had like the Cash App logo. It had Cash App ads all over it, and baked in as well.
Like even the Twitch events, they have it baked in there as well.
Right.
So they wouldn't even be following their own code of conduct.
Which is something that they actually mentioned, where one of the Q&A things is, hey, what if I have an opportunity or a sponsorship through Twitch? Am I still required to abide by these rules? And Twitch said that it's gonna, or the answer to that Q&A was, we're gonna hold everyone accountable to the new terms of service.
Yeah, which hey, you know what? If they're gonna say they're gonna be lenient with it, that's not okay.
Yeah.
Because then it goes, hey, dude, you're picking favorites, which any company should not pick favorites. So for them to say, hey, we're gonna get everybody, is cool. Whether they're actually going to do it or not, that's where we'll find out.
And that's the part that's concerning to me above all else, because it's like, yeah, they backtracked. They stopped aiming the gun at everyone, especially all the small creators. but they didn't exactly take the gun off the table. It's still there. They could pick it
Yeah,
up whenever they want.
Yeah, that's completely fair.
And that's something that concerns a lot of people because it's like, okay, well, if the verbiage says this, it's like Yu-Gi-Oh, right? The verbiage technically says this, so it should work this way. So if people who are receiving their advertisements or their sponsorships through third parties or however, like whatever crosses the threshold of TOS, Twitch doesn't have to punish small creators for it, but they can. And that's the part that gets people.
Yeah, which hey, if that's what it's like, then hopefully your stream elements let you do it for YouTube. Yeah. And hopefully you still get that same thing. I mean, to be honest, right, when you think about it, right? So when you think about it, Twitch has subscriptions that you pay for Twitch. I don't know if Bits gets or I don't know if Twitch Bits gets a percentage as well.
I believe Bits do.
See, so when you put it that way, okay, well, Twitch gets their cut through a lot of ad sources or through a lot of places.
Yeah.
If they're just trying to maximize and, that's get with it or get lost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it sucks too, though, right? Because no matter what we say, like, oh, just move over to Kick or move over to YouTube or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Twitch is still the best platform. Which
Twitch. Well, sorry. Twitch has the highest viewership platform.
Twitch is still considered the best streaming platform. Like,
yeah,
par none. YouTube is not close.
Yeah,
just like YouTube is the best video on demand service or the best like YouTube or video streaming service. The Twitch is the best live streaming service. Everyone agrees unanimously on this. So, for them to keep making calls like this, because we just had another Twitch crisis with some moves that they made, a month, 2 months ago?
Yeah.
Like, fairly recently? And for them to keep making moves like this and knowing that, like, they have to know it's going to piss people off because they backtracked. Or they anticipated the backlash and they rolled it back. And while they rolled it back, they still did the sneaky TOS change under the table.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's... Well, what I liked about it more, right? We also got to say the good stuff about it. They said, hey, we're going to make sure that everyone's aware. We're going to make sure that everyone knows.
Yeah.
And anyone that's an affiliate or anyone that's a partner, they have to read the new TOS and accept it.
Yeah, that's something I didn't.
So it isn't like they just put it under the rug and then you just stepped on the booby trap,
But the finalized TOS chain, like they rolled back that article. That article wasn't the law though. They technically didn't roll back on anything. They removed the article and they publicly apologized to make it look like they rolled back, but then they etched it in stone.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah. Yeah, good misdirect. I agree.
No, it's okay. Listen, I don't know if this is the one you want to play devil's advocate on, but just because this is also going to be part of our revenue source, and this is something that affects us as members of the industry too.
Yeah, well, I mean, so here's my point of view on it. If there is no competition, it's not good for any of us. If Twitch makes bad moves that allows Kick, that allows YouTube, that allows any other streaming platform to somewhat come up, I'm completely all for it.
That's fair.
I'm not going to say, hey, you know what? NVIDIA needs to do better because they're the top dog. No, the GPU prices are still insane. The price per dollar got worse.
Yeah.
And what do? We all complain in the comments and then what happens? We still buy the stupid GPU, right?
Right.
So, at the end of the day, I do agree, like, hey, bad is bad. But what I'm saying is, sometimes the grass isn't always greener on the other side, Yeah.
The last thing that I wanted to give him the 1-2 buckaroo for was just you already mentioned it, the kind of strong arming all of the content creators that are signed to have to agree to the new TOS. I didn't care for that. That's actually that feels really bad.
Yeah, I mean, like strong arm, but I like how they told you.
Well, I mean,
You know?
regardless, they should tell you, right? I get an email from YouTube
Yeah.
when there's a policy update. I get a email from Facebook. I get an email from anyone for about policy changes. Because you're gonna want people to, hold themselves responsible for your policies. The part that I don't like is the charge to creator accounts that happens if you choose not to agree.
Yeah.
And partners going down to affiliates. Yeah, if you're not on the boat, it makes sense that go to what's it called, in a flight. You go to the regular like econ seating.
Mm.
You go to economy seating if you're not willing to be a part of the captain's club.
Yeah.
But the fact that it comes out of people's pockets, kind of bad. If you don't choose to sign over. The only thing I did like about it is that just because you take your time to sign it by a certain time, that doesn't mean that you lose your partnership status. It's just affiliate until you sign it.
Yeah. I think.
It's like, hey, we want you to agree to this. You don't get an option to agree to it, and if you don't, you can leave. That's fine.
Yeah.
But if you do choose you want to be a part of this after reading the TOS, then cool, you can have your place back. I don't care. I like that.
Yeah.
That's about it though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, right. No one likes change, and it's like, yeah, I was really upset when all of the programs now go to subscription based, and I can't use the platform without using cloud.
Yeah.
But yeah, same idea.
It's just painful to watch because not even talking about Twitch specifically, it's weird to watch these titans of the industry clash, trying to be the best at what they do, but they keep not learning from the other one's mistake or their own mistakes, right?
What I would say, right, it's because they have the freedom to do whatever, they're gonna do whatever. And at the end of the day, because everything is stockholder based,
yeah,
if the stockholder's not making any money, that is what would jeopardize the company more than any consumer.
Yeah.
Or sorry, any consumer's opinion. Sorry, I gotta correct myself there.
Yeah.
Any consumer's opinion.
Yeah. Well, okay, so we're talking about the consumer's opinion, right? How does that work then when you're employees, right? Because we're technically not employees of Twitch, but we do have a contract with Twitch. Employees of Twitch, or the contracted people that work on Twitch, they're also the consumer, but they're also the people generating that platform money. So then where
yeah. I mean, that's the reason why strikes are created.
Yeah.
That's why unions are created. So, like I said, that's completely fine. I mean, we should have a point where we take a step back and we say, hey, what is going on here? And sometimes we do need to retaliate, and sometimes strikes do need to happen. Yeah. And that's when the article was first released and all of the big OTK house, they said, you know what, we're going to take a strike on this, or we're just going to leave the platform. Mm. I was like, hey, you know what? That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just sucks that smaller people like GarboArtist, right? It's very much the consumer bracket where it's, hey, we don't really care. But the guys that have people who are millionaires, that and the company itself is probably worth a couple million on its own, those are the people who get to make those calls.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's the only it would take a raging Twitter storm to make that happen with just the small time creators.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it needs to have the small time creators have support from the big time creators, and then we start talking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because a lot of these big creators' audience are probably the same people who are the small creators, the odds of them not complying or not jumping on is pretty small, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, whether or not Big Chumps survives and thrives, that's not up to you and me at the end of the day.
Exactly.
It's up to the people who are listening right now and the people who are going to listen in the future.
Yep. If there's no business, then, sorry, there's no business at all.
That's why we're trying to sell cups and shirts, so we don't have to worry about ad revenue.
Man. But yeah, no, so Is there anything else you want to talk about before as we're wrapping up this topic?
No. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to be a lot more insightful. All the news is stretch over a couple days, so I do recommend going to listen to Moist Critical's take or Ledwig's take. They break it down really easy for people to understand, and they give you like the car facts about it. So
Okay, yeah. So before we continue here, I want to interject because something happened to me today on the way home.
ooh.
I was outdoor dashing, and then I ended up picking my girlfriend, and we were driving home, and I got rear-ended. I got into a car accident.
Oh.
Yeah, and it wasn't too bad. It was it was fast enough to where like I jolted forward,
Hmm.
but not fast enough to where the trunk or the hood of her car was damaged.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. But going back, I just wanted to throw that in there because I thought that was interesting fact for me today.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk about my DoorDash experience so far
Mm.
because I had a hiccup or I messed up.
Ooh.
So I was on a DoorDash and it was for McDonald's. It was a McDonald's order, so it had a large Coca-Cola.
Yes.
Right? So, for the whole day, I was kind of just putting everything inside of an Instacrate and I would put it in the trunk. So all of the food would sit in the trunk. And I actually forgot that the drink could fall over. So, I didn't think anything of it because I was so used to it throughout the day. I got to the house. I like the customer was at their door looking at me taking the food out the car. I picked up the bag and I looked at it and I was like, it looks a little wet. My car wasn't wet at all. The Instacrate was bone dry, but the bag looked soggy. Right? So I ended up giving it to the customer and she was like, oh, thank you so much. And I was like, yeah, you have a good day. And then afterwards, I felt bad.
Yeah.
I felt really bad. So because it was really close to a 7-Eleven, I ended up just hitting up the 7-Eleven and getting 2 Cokes because, it's like the mix and match,
Yeah.
Deal. So I ended up going back and I was like, hey, I don't know if the drink spilled, but in case it did, here's a Coke. And it wasn't even the same girl that opened the door and like got the food from me. It was her mom. Man, do you know how hard it was for me to explain that I didn't know that the drink spilled or not in the car? She was so flabbergasted. She was like, sorry, I just woke up. And I was like, ma'am, I'm from DoorDash. I don't know if I spilled your daughter's drink. Here's the Coke. I'm gonna leave now. She was trying to like hold a conversation with me. I was like, look, I gotta go. But that actually made me think about it, and I was like, if it was a bigger company, right? Like if I was at Safeway and I made a mistake like that,
Yeah.
I would try to fix it.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
at the end of the day, like, if it's really busy, you kind of just brush them off to the side, right? And then as we were just talking about customer opinions and how important we think it is,
Yeah.
like that everything is made right. I was like, I wonder if there's actually like papers on it, like some sort of like article or something. So from the Harvard Business Review, this is an article from 2010, and it says, "Stop trying to delight your customers." Right, so
2010? Were
2010.
people
Well,
door dashing back then?
well, I want to say door dashing, right? But this is more so customer service.
Okay.
Right,
So it's
so-
an encompassing article.
Yeah, right. So I'm just going to read a little excerpt here. It says, the idea that companies must delight their customers has become so entrenched that managers rarely examine it. But ask yourself this. How often does someone patronize a company specifically because of its over-the-top service?
Oh, that's rough just because I can't argue with that, and I've witnessed. I hate talking about Safeway now because I listen back to a couple of podcasts and I feel like talking about Safeway every week.
Yeah.
It sucks because I've witnessed one of the other managers being berated because he didn't have the same demeanor that I did, like the very like, hey, I want to make this right by you, like attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that makes sense, right? If someone receives a certain kind of service and they're used to receiving that service every single time, the one time they don't get is the time that stands out versus the fact that they got the higher service in general.
Yeah, so whenever we went to restaurants, like your standard is a lot higher than mine, just because for me I expect like bad service, not like expecting it, but I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna make a plan hoping that it's gonna go well because chances are it's not, right? So I won't like lose my bananas. I would put it like that. You don't either, but it's more like a. I'm not gonna think twice about it. Like I'm not gonna be like, you know what? I need to write a review on John. John, he'd forgotten my refill. But
Mm-hmm.
going
Mm-hmm.
back to the article here. So in large company customer service channels, their research shows that loyalty has a lot more to do with how well companies deliver on the basic promises than on how dazzling the service experience might be.
Mm-hmm.
See, so when you put it that way, should Twitch care? Hey, if they're still selling Coca Colas, hey, the doors is open, my man. You know what I mean?
I don't know what to say to any of that, just
You know
because.
what's crazy? My article, I didn't even think about what we were gonna talk about for the Twitch thing.
Yeah,
This article just happened to fall perfectly in line.
we also happen to make it the second. Like accidentally, we made it the second thing we talk about.
That is insane to me.
It's very rare that we don't like pre-plan our schedule or our topic order.
Yeah.
Where we kind of just shot this one in the dark. We just ran it, and that's cool. That's actually cool that it just lined up that way.
Okay. So
I do want to nitpick you real quick though, because I
go ahead.
can't believe you said that.
What did I say?
That my expectation for service is higher than you.
Yeah.
Man, you've walked out of a Red Robin and a BJ's in the same day because
Yeah.
someone didn't come get you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like how would I put it? When I go to BJ's or I go to Red Robin,
Hmm.
I'm like,
You what?
you know
You
what?
what? You what
There's
about their
about to be
service?
some funk nonsense going on in this establishment. I know.
No.
I am not gonna sit here and just
That's your demeanor as a result of what happens. When
you
you go
know.
into BJ's or Red Robin's versus a Burger King, Pree expects better service than Burger King.
Mm. Like yeah, I would say because I actually went to Habit before I went here,
Mm-hmm.
right? I got a charburger and it was $8.
Oh God,
Like I was like, you know what? I think the Big Mac's around $8 now.
still cheaper than Five Guys.
Yeah. I'm like, man, you know what? If I'm going to the restaurant and I'm spending $16 on a burger and fries and drink combo, just like McDonald's or whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
you best believe I better get some better service.
Man.
At least here. Wait. I take that back. Let's say you don't give me service.
Uh huh.
How about we eat an all-you-can-eat buffet where I can go and get my own drink?
Yeah.
See, think about it like that. If more places were self-service, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. I can agree with that just because like where I live right now, the most success that you and I have had consistently with going out to eat together in this town has actually been a Korean barbecue place where all they have to do is drop off the raw meat and refill the water pitcher, or which sometimes they don't do right away. Or an all you can eat China buffet, which is literally next door to it.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, look, I'm not saying you need to sit at my table with me to make sure I'm okay.
Just check on me every
What
5 minutes.
But hey, look, if you walking by and you look at me and I look at you and we look at each other, come on, man. I'm not looking at you because I think I want to look at you. I need something.
You're not over there trying to riz the young mamacita serving the water.
Yeah, well, I'm like, I gotta tip you, man. I'm not saying you gotta earn your tip, but you at least gotta help me help you get a tip.
Okay, so we're gonna get in a bit of a tangent, so I'm gonna make this one quick, just because this kind of leads into your next topic. Um, I don't know how to say this without sounding jaded. What you just said is so much more true when you're in a large party and it's an establishment that requires a tip of a certain amount, like a certain percentage.
Gratuity, yeah.
When gratuity is required over a certain party amount and you still get bad service, that's really when it stings. It's like, listen, there's 2 water pitchers at the table, dude. If you could keep them full, that 20% won't. We're not gonna sweat that.
Well, for me, I'm like, look, if you only got 2 in the building, cool. How about, like every other table, you give a pitcher to 4 people? Why don't we get a couple more pitchers,
Yeah. But, like, so stuff like that, because that's happened to us before, where we were in a larger group and we just weren't attended to as often as they probably should have.
Yeah.
And it just sucks, because it's like, I'm never not going to tip when I go out to eat, but you're certainly not getting your 20%. Like, you and I have given a 40% tip to someone at Mel's.
Oh yeah, no. If you actually make my day, or
Like,
sorry, if you happen to catch me on a good day, and you don't make me have a bad day,
yeah,
I'll give you a lot.
no,
Like,
I mean,
I'm like,
no, you were right too. Like, it catch us on a good day, but also like just make us feel better leaving than we do coming in.
Yeah.
Because the girl that I'm talking about specifically, you know who it is. She made out a couple times because she just sat there chatting it up with us, and as soon as the food was ready, she grabbed it, she put it on the table, and she walked away. She left us alone.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, imagine we do that for someone at a big table. We convince everyone, like, hey, if you're strapped, it's cool, but why don't we all give this person extra $2? Because they were on it today, right?
Yeah.
Like, everyone would be a lot more willing to do it if the service doesn't suck.
Yeah.
And that's not me saying to any of you waiters or servers out there,
including me,
like, hey, only go for the big tables that they're going to treat you better, or treat them better so they treat you better. That's more of a, like, in general, like, it sucks that, hey, earn your tip, because I'm going to give it to you anyways. It sucks more when your tip is guaranteed.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
That's like me saying, like, I don't care if I do a bad job. I showed up for the hours, so I get paid regardless. That sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, so going back to being cheap versus frugal, right? I actually want to talk about... the first one didn't even have a title. We didn't even introduce that in the beginning. I just ended up talking about it. But cheap versus frugal. So while I was out door dashing, right, the first day I was like, you know what? I'm hungry. It's lunchtime. McDonald's. I got myself, the McDonald's app double cheeseburger combo or whatever, right? And the second day I was like, you know what? I can't be spending all this money on McDonald's. I feel like I need to make it myself. Not make McDonald's, but I got to make some lunch myself.
I was gonna say, whoa there, you're trying to break into the market already after one McDonald's?
Yeah, so I actually I had a delivery for Safeway, or it ended right next to a Safeway.
Yeah.
So I went to Safeway, and I was like, I really want some goobers. Do you know what goobers is?
The peanut butter and jelly mix?
The PB&J, yeah. All right, so something about goober here, right? My girlfriend is allergic to peanut butter.
Indeed.
So I couldn't get goober. So I had to settle for the next best thing. So they make sunflower seed butter, like peanut butter, except it's sunflower seeds. Apparently, they say that it's for people that got peanut allergy. I don't know. Right, but so I got that, and I got some Smucker's jelly. Right, and I got myself a loaf of bread. Total came out to like $15 or whatever.
Same thing you'd spend at McDonald's.
Same thing I'd spend at McDonald's. Yep, like $4.
Except you can make
for one day.
Except you can make infinitely more sandwiches.
Yep, exactly. So here's the real kicker. Here's the real kicker, right? So when you're outdoor dashing, sometimes you don't got the time to go back home and get your sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
I leave that in the glove box. It's the whole combo. I got the loaf, the sunseed butter, and the jam all in the glove box.
Like right now, like as we speak, right now.
As we speak, it's in the glove box.
That's supposed to be. You know that the jam is supposed to, or the jelly is supposed to be refrigerated, right?
It doesn't say that on the bottle. That's the first thing I thought of, too.
I almost want to tell you to go get it from the car right now on the podcast.
All right, you know what? On set, go ahead and look it up.
On set, look it up. Okay.
On set, look it up. Okay, while I continue talking about DoorDash.
Strawberry?
Smucker's jelly. Strawberry jelly. Yeah, I got strawberry. Strawberry's the best flavor, right?
Absolutely. I agree.
Absolutely. I agree. Amen.
Go for it.
But anyways, so continuing back, right? I was looking at an article. I was like, you know what? Inflation happened. Money's expensive. Food is expensive nowadays. I was like, how much money do you save by cooking at home? I was looking it up. The first thing that popped up on Google for me was a Forbes article, and it was from 2018, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it obviously says, on average, it's 5 times more expensive to order delivery from a restaurant than it is to cook at home.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, look, ain't no way that's relevant today. I need to look up some more research. Mm-hmm. So I ended up going to another article. It's called from realplans.com.
Post a little screenshot for you there, too, by the way.
Yeah, this right here is from Emily.
Emily.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Emily, for doing this for me. But, so, they said that they use meal kits, right? So, they did, what is this here, Blue Apron? And then she compared the price, right? And then, it does the whole mumbo-jumbo math.
Yeah.
And at the end, it's the same result. It's like, as you can see, it's significantly you save significant amounts of money by cooking a meal at home.
Yeah.
Think about that, At the end of the day, am I being cheap or am I being frugal? What do you think?
So I have a weird take. And I'm sure I'm sure it's not weird. I'm sure this is everyone's take, just because we're all humans. We're all busy doing stuff, especially now that most people are actually out the house doing stuff again.
Yeah.
I actually love to cook. My problem with cooking is it consumes quite a bit of time for me.
Oh, yeah.
Because the things that I like to cook aren't things that I could just, whip wop, get the mop and head out.
Yeah.
So while I would love to, be able to do like hibachi steak and make a ginger sauce for me and my girlfriend to dip our steak in, parring that meat prices are tolerable that day.
Yeah.
I don't have it in me. Like even, and I guess and like my dad said this to me before. Well, why are you trying to do up your meals, right? Why don't you just do jar of tomato sauce and noodle? That's your spaghetti dinner.
Yeah.
No meat sauce, no salad, no bread. Mm-hmm. Just no noodle and pasta.
Oh yeah.
And he's right. Of course, I could just dump I could heat up a jar of pasta sauce and then make some noodles.
Yep.
But then, if that's what I'm doing, how does that become any different than, besides being more time consuming, how does me making the exact same thing as cheap as possible the same way every single time, how is that any different than me just making a cup of noodle?
Yeah, that's a fair argument, right? Because at the end of the day, when you go to the restaurant or you go to the takeout, it isn't like you're buying something frozen,
Yeah.
Like you can't make that instantly.
Yeah.
Or if you were to buy it, you have to make a lot in order just to get the savings to make sense sometimes.
Yeah, like your old job, for instance, Olive Garden. My favorite soup there is the zuppa Toscana.
Dude, like to make a soup, it takes forever.
Forever.
You're making soup and you're putting it in the freezer.
Like my favorite soup of all time is pozole, which my grandma makes. My grandma starts making that like a day and a half in advance before we eat it.
Yeah.
Like insane amount of uptime for the and then that makes your house hot, especially like right now because we're going through a bit of a hot spell. that makes your house hot. Like if I'm already fat and sweaty, I don't want to be more fat and sweaty.
Yeah, so I know a lot of the people who cook fish deal with this. Cooking fish stinks.
Yeah.
But if you buy the fish already cooked, it don't stink as bad.
Right.
You ain't stinking up the whole house. See, that one, I completely agree. Buy it outside, come home, eat it,
Yeah. I definitely think there's like ways to... There's a fine line for you to play in between, like something that I used to do when I was living in just a room, when I was renting just a room when COVID started. I would buy chicken tenders from the deli because I would always tell them, like, hey, I'm going to buy all of them. Just, like, make me a batch of chicken tender, like a pound or two. I'm going to take it home because I had to close the store anyways.
Yeah.
So I'd have the deli make it for me. I'd put it in the microwave in the manager's office. I'd purchase it as the last checker left. And what I would do is I had my big bag of mozzarella, right, already at home. Yep. I had as small as I can get for one person, a jar of pizza sauce or tomato sauce.
Yep.
And I would make chicken parmesan that way. And then, one time I even got fancy. I had some cold noodles from spaghetti we made the other day. And I put the pasta sauce on that too. Bam, full plate of chicken parm. Right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's definitely a fine line where you can play with it. But in general, like, a lot of people consume meat. And that, I feel like that's the biggest takeaway from trying to cook at home. Meat prices kind of just gouge you.
No. We need to talk about onions, bro. So onions, you buy one onion, it's like $3. All
right, you want to talk about produce? Let's talk about shavakadu.
I don't even know what shavakadu is.
You've never seen the meme "Free Shavakadu"?
No.
It was a Subway meme where it had like the old school marquee boards outside of a Subway.
Yeah.
And it said "free avocados," and then some of the letters fell off, so it spelled "free shavakadu."
Well, you know what's crazy? So
fresh avocados. It said fresh avocados, so it went to free shavakadu.
Yeah. So it was it's about they have a deal, 10 for $10, large avocados, Safeway.
10 for 10 right now? That's actually really good.
But after the 10 for 10's done,
yeah,
it drops down to 88 cents each. So they really get you on the first one.
Yeah.
But then they give you the better deal as the avocados are going bad.
Yeah. They hit you real hard. Wait, actually 10 for 10? Like the Haas avocados or the Haas avocados?
I think so. Yeah, the large ones. The large ones.
Because the last time I was in a Safeway, it was like 2 for 6 or 2 for 8.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So there's a deal, and then there's a better deal.
Yeah.
Because there's the sale, and then there's the clearance.
They're trying to push it out last second. Which is rough with produce, because working in that department, you have to gauge, like, to do stuff like that, you have to gauge really well when it's gonna go bad.
Yeah.
Like, you have to know, and produce isn't like a fine science. Like, strawberries should expire in open air in 6 days. It could expire in 2.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So just talking about spoilage, go ahead and read me the Smucker's fact.
Oh. So Smucker's https://www.smuckers.com/FAQ.
Yeah.
We recommend refrigerating our fruit spreads, jams, jellies, and preserves after opening, per the instructions on the back of the label of our products.
See, ain't no way, man. Do you know where it's in right now?
Your glove box?
My glove box. That's the coldest place it's going to be in the car. That sounds like great. Nah, dude, here. Let me paint you the picture of how I be making my sandwiches on the road, right?
So he reaches over with his right foot, opens the glove box.
Right. So I don't really got a plate. You see, I don't really got a plate while I'm out there. So I put the bread on my right thigh. Right. And then see, I usually only got one utensil, if not any. So when I bought the Smuckers, I wasn't able to get any utensils from the
deli.
What's it called? The deli.
Yeah.
But you know what they did had out? Like, they had chopsticks.
Oh.
Right. So I was like, you know what? One chopstick for the peanut butter, one for the jelly. and it's just on my lap. And then I kind of just like put one hand, like slap it together, and then I enjoy myself a nice sunflower and J.
You know what you should have done?
Hmm.
Because after living with you, especially, I've come to find that you're quite versed with chopsticks.
Yeah.
You should have just picked out the peanut butter and jelly, respectively, like it was a ball of like a wet rice.
Yeah, well, you see, my problem was like I couldn't really clean like one to dip into the other, because I don't want to make goober. You know what I mean?
Well, it's okay because it sounds like your girlfriend's not eating the darn jelly in the glove box anyway.
Why not?
I'm gonna have to text her and warn her about the glove box jelly.
I ain't gonna lie with you, right? So, like when I first had it the first day, it was nice, real solid, right? But you know me, I can't put a dollop, right? I gotta break it up a little bit. I gotta spread.
Yeah.
Except it's not gonna spread. I got a chopstick.
Yeah.
So I was like mixing it right, so it was like solid at first.
Yeah.
But today, it was more like a jelly, not jelly, more like a liquid.
That's
I
don't know if that's good, brother.
Hey,
I don't know if you should keep eating that, brother.
Look, it was going on my sandwich really easily, and I was down with that.
You know what you should do actually?
Huh?
Because you already travel around with an Instacrate cart or Instacrate like basket.
Great.
Yeah. You should get like a little styrofoam thing. Put some dry ice in the bottom of it. Put a towel or a thin towel over that, and then leave your jelly in there.
Yeah. See, what I'm thinking is I'm gonna start leaving the jelly in the glove box, and because it says refrigerate ketchup. Maybe I don't remember that one. That one you might have to fact check me on.
I'm pretty sure you're supposed to refrigerate ketchup.
But people don't. You go to the restaurant. They don't refrigerate the ketchup.
Need to refrigerate peanut butter ketchup.
See, and I'm not talking like the little packets. I'm talking like the bottles.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Most people are saying to refrigerate it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. See. Interesting, right? Okay. But anyways, we're getting short on time here. Is there anything big topic you want to talk about from your side?
No. The Peggle topic's a throwaway thing. You can go ahead and talk about games.
Okay. I wanted to talk about game prices, and do you believe that the games are really worth it anymore?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, Diablo 4 just came out.
Mm-hmm.
That one started at $70.
Mm-hmm.
Best believe I bought it. But like it's kind of hard to say nowadays. The best example would be you bought Soul Hackers 2 pre-order because I really wanted to play it for the channel.
Mm-hmm.
It just happened that the retention on it didn't do too well just because of the nature of that game.
Yeah.
And the same week or the month after, it ended up on the Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, that was a real kick to the nards.
So is it really worth it? I know Nintendo's going up there in prices too.
Yep. Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, their most recent in-house produced game. $70, physical or digital.
Yeah, see, is it hard to say? I feel like games have come a long way. Cuz because we're doing the bargain bin, I've kind of been more open to trying out more games.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like I don't get the same like graphical experience from a $70 game or like another higher end up like a AAA title. But I will say sometimes I do get the same like that put a smile on my face even though it isn't a AAA title,
I don't agree.
Mm.
And the reason I
Go
don't
ahead.
agree is because I think it'll be up this Monday. No, because we just did your bargain bin this Monday, right? As of recording this.
Yeah.
So by the time you guys are listening to this, hopefully I have uploaded Neon White for bargain bin on Monday. I think Neon White looks stellar.
Yeah.
I think it looks amazing. and I did not spend anywhere close to $70 for it. Not even 60.
Yeah.
I think it's very possible and very easy for developers and companies to make games that are worth the price. And the reason that is your same example. We have all these games in the Xbox Game Pass, right?
Yeah.
In terms of like the way that like the money goes, technically those games are at a net loss once they go onto a Game Pass.
Yeah.
Because something that we do constantly now in our friend group is, oh, do you guys want to play this game? Well, is it on a Game Pass or do I have to buy it? And even if it's like a legacy edition and it costs $20, we're more likely to spend the 15 on the Game Pass and have more games.
Yeah. Yeah, I will agree on that. Yeah.
So it's crazy for me to think like you guys would rather upcharge this game that you probably haven't had to spend any additional like money for developers because your studio hasn't increased or decreased. So you guys spent the same amount of work theoretically on paper, and you're still upcharging people for it.
See, so I want to interject here. So I feel like because there's some companies that have, not some companies, there are some game titles that do have the following. And for those, I'm like, hey, if you want to charge $70, you know what? You don't have to, there's no competition for your game. Your game is going to have buyers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, you know what? Diablo 4, $70. I don't know when Diablo 3 was released. Fact check me real quick.
Okay.
Or how long Diablo 3 has been out. Been quite a while. But I feel like in cases like that, where it's already been established.
2012, by the way.
Like 2012. It's been 8 years, 10 years, 11 years.
11 years. Since
Diablo 3. So, for games like that we've all been waiting a really long time for, if you're going to charge $70, just make sure it's not bad.
Well, okay, so we're going that route then, right?
Yeah.
A lot of these AAA game companies are releasing half-baked or not finished games too.
Like Assassin's Creed. That's probably my favorite one. Assassin's Creed with all of the endless amounts of bugs. Yeah, it's hard. For me, if it's a single player game, I don't really take a lot of I don't give them a lot of leeway.
Yeah.
I'm very hard when it comes to single player games. If it's multiplayer and you have server issues, okay, you know what? I get it. It's a multiplayer game. You got server issues.
Yeah.
If your single player game that I spent $70 for is bad, or there's bugs, or I'm running through a wall, or I get stuck in a...
It should have never left someone's computer.
Yeah.
So the biggest example that's recent to me, and I'm sure there's games that have been released in between this game and right now, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. A game that was highly anticipated because of how well its predecessor did. It has a 6-star rating on Steam.
Wow.
Out of 10. It has a lot. Its overall reviews says mixed, which for a AAA title of that of that prestige, because Star Wars is not a small brand, for it to get that and still charge $70 is insane.
Yeah, really crazy.
Not only is it $70, the deluxe edition is $90. And the only thing you get for that is like some colors or some alts for your to customize your character. Nothing about the game changes. You get nothing extra from it. That's tangible.
Yes. So Diablo 4, the Ultimate Edition is $100, I believe. Right. So, and this is actually something I want to talk about as well. So I'm glad we're getting into here. I wanted to talk about microtransactions and not pay to win, but pretty close to it, like pay to progress.
Yeah.
So there's the battle pass, right? And you're able to buy tiers.
Mm-hmm.
So Diablo 4 has done this thing where there are the free parts, and the free are all the way up to the end of the free is where it's the game changing ones.
Yeah.
So there's basically buffs that you get from completing certain tiers, and you can get it all on the free without paying for the battle pass.
Yeah.
Anything when you pay for the premium battle pass, it's all cosmetic.
Yeah.
Right. So there's this I don't want to say like argument, but there's a big debate on is it really pay to win?
Yeah.
Because when you really think about it, okay, technically you can do 1 through 50 battle pass ranks for free, but you can also jump straight to 50. And technically, for the amount of time that the free guy spent, you just skip it all by paying.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of said it there without saying the word. It's just a convenience fee, right?
Right,
and so it's the same thing as the do I want to cook food or do I want to go out and get food? By me buying chicken parmesan at Applebee's and bringing it home, or having it DoorDash to me. Let's go the DoorDash route, right? I have paid for not only the convenience of it being cooked for me in the form of it being upcharged. As far as like the restaurant charging me $20 and then the extra $2 for DoorDash, I also get charged the service fee for the convenience of me not having to drive there.
Yeah.
I 100% I don't think it's pay to play just because it's it's accessible to everybody.
Yeah.
Versus where like I hate that these are the first examples in my head. Wizard 101 or Club Penguin, like you literally could just pay for like the best cards or the best whatever, like games like that. WoW, right? Theoretically, you could juice yourself by paying enough to just circumvent the need to grind or do anything.
Yeah.
Like you could just be endgame if you want to.
Yeah, see, so what I found interesting, right? In a multiplayer game where you're kind of affecting other people, I feel like that's a big issue. Like World of Warcraft had it where you can buy gold, and with that gold you can buy gear. But it was cool because with that same gold, you can convert that back to money.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, like it balances itself out. Like that one I thought was a really interesting idea.
The old fishing economy.
Yeah, like that one was good. I like that one. So Diablo 4, when they did theirs, and like I was reading about the whole debate because it was happening all up until release. It was crazy because it's a single player game. Diablo 4 is a single player game PvE.
Interesting.
It doesn't exactly matter. Like so sorry. Single player as in it's PvE, and it doesn't like really affect anything if you were to get the premium or not as much. Like it isn't like you're trying to race like an MMORPG.
Yeah.
To where you could buy into the top.
Yeah.
For a single player game that you can technically just play by yourself, who really sees that,
Yeah. That's like me playing the new Final Fantasy VII remake, and they said, "Hey, for an extra $20, you can just have 100% game file." Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm like, that's kind of weird to me.
Kind of weird.
But,
I'm never gonna play the game, but yeah, cool.
So that game, it is a server based. Like you do have to connect to their server in order to play it because they do have. It's an open world concept, so you are able to. I don't want to say like walk around, but you can walk around and then there's other people in the world.
Yeah.
So it isn't like it's an empty world, which I love. I love when the world doesn't feel empty. But it isn't like there's a nice, insane market system where you can convert that money to gold. At least that's what I believe.
Yeah.
Or convert the gold into money on Diablo.
Yeah. Which is
weird.
Which is insanely weird that Blizzard did it with one game, but refused to do it with any of the other titles.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, though. Because, in World of Warcraft, that MMORPG, that's one of their biggest, that was their biggest seller before all the other games,
Yeah.
Besides Diablo. Diablo was big up there, too. That's why we're on Diablo 4 instead of Diablo 1. But anyways.
Yeah. I just think it's interesting. It's something that if they wanted to, like, world build and expand, they could technically make like Overwatch MMORPG and Diablo.
Everything MMORPG.
Yeah, like and you can make it enjoyable for different play styles and stuff. Like, I struggle with MOBAs and MMORPGs in general.
Yeah.
Just because of the difference in perspective. Because I normally play FPS games or platformers.
Yeah.
That's what I grew up on. That's why I know how to play. So the perspective change is a little weird to me. But like, after a while, I'm not great at WoW. I'm not great at League, but I can play it. I physically can press buttons and move.
Yeah.
But now imagine if I could functionally do the same thing in League with a UI that corresponds to how I would perceive it on Valorant. Like the I get the highlight indicator, it does the exact same thing. Places the exact same way. The only difference is how I see it versus how the other guy sees it. That would be crazy.
That would be crazy.
And they could do that for those kind of worlds if they wanted to, but it'd be interesting for them to have to integrate it that way. But technically WoW can WoW first person?
Yeah, you can zoom in WoW.
So technically they already have the infrastructure to make each of their games into that world if they wanted to.
Yeah, see, so for Diablo, I really like it because that's one. I always say that I really hate like top-down arcade games.
Mm.
Because Diablo has the gear system, and because it's like the story driven of it is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I've only played the prologue, and I'm already like hooked. I'm like, oh, dude, this is gonna be a one whirl of a ride.
Oh man.
But yeah, no, but this one I can tolerate.
Yeah.
All the other ones, because I don't really have any great examples off the top of my head.
So we got to wrap it up, but just so I can clarify, like Diablo used to be like a dungeon crawler, right?
It's the same dungeon crawler type here, yes.
Okay. Because I know it's like always been like a 45-ish degree angle from the like in the air from the character, right? Like it's kind of like a tilted perspective, not quite up down.
Yeah. It's pretty tilted. It isn't like just straight up top down.
Yeah. Because like games like The Binding of Isaac, I like that it looks like the original Zelda. It's top down, and it's a little roguelike.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, I think that's one of the things that like screws with me with League too, because League is technically on a tilted axis.
Yeah.
So, like, hats off for you being able to do it, but you played the games like it before, so that's probably why it's familiar, or at least easy enough to adapt to. I'm done with MOBAs and top-down games. I can't anymore.
Yeah.
I said League is the last game that I'm gonna learn that's new for a while.
Do you know what else we're gonna learn for a while?
What are we gonna learn?
Hopefully not too long. We're gonna learn how to do an outro. Anyways, if you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe. Share it with your buddies.
Mm-hmm.
And Lorenzo, go ahead and do the store insert.
Bigchumps.com /store, or just click the store button on the homepage. Our merch store is now available. Go check out our merches. We're going to be updating some of the designs to look a little better, and some new stuff's coming out soon. Also, if you're watching on Apple Podcast or Spotify, give us 5 stars and comment. We want to hear from you.
But yeah, if you want to leave a comment on YouTube too, I would appreciate that. I want to hear from y'all. But without any further ado, thank you so much for watching, and we will catch you next week on Chump Change.
Later.